Apple has added a new feature that people have always wanted to do natively and use on the iPhone without having to download any third-party applications or use third-party shortcuts. And this is the ability to lock and require Face ID for different applications. Now, this feature is probably going to break some relationships, but at the same time, it's been requested by so many people that Apple had to add it. So in order for you to get this, my iPhone looks pretty normal and simple, but if you go into settings and go to software update, you can see I'm currently on iOS 18. So you do have to be on iOS 18 in order to try it out. And so that you are able to tell that I'm on iOS 18, I'll just go into dark mode and you'll be able to remember that. So this feature is available from the get-go with the first beta of iOS 18, and the way you access it is pretty simple. You don't have to go into your settings or change anything. It's available from the get-go. So here, for example, if I wanted to do my email application right here and set a password, since this iPhone has Face ID, then it will authenticate with a Face ID. If you have an old iPhone like the iPhone SE that has a Touch ID, the SE 2nd gen or 3rd gen, they support iOS 18. And by the way, this is a list of all the supported devices that support iOS 18. So if you have a Touch ID device, you will see an option to lock your applications with Touch ID. If you have a Face ID iPhone like this one, then you will see the option to require Face ID to lock your application. So as you can see here, the way you access this is pretty simple. You just have to long press and hold on the application you want to lock. And then here, there's the option that says require Face ID. So this is the email application right here. And in case you want to try like another third-party application that's not made by Apple, we try the Gmail. You see, if I press and hold, it also gives me the option to lock or require Face ID. So we just try with the Photos app right here. If we press and hold, you can see require Face ID. And now it says Face ID will be required to open the app or use with Siri. Notification previews and Spotlight will not show app content. So with this, you are able to still get notifications, but in order to review the preview of the notification and see what the notification has, you do need your passcode or your Face ID. So if you say require Face ID, you can see it authenticates on top with Face ID right there. And then you can see it shows you applications that work with that specific app that you are trying to lock with Face ID. And you see here, there's a lot of apps that work with the photos. At the same time, you can see since we've locked it, if we try and open it, it will require Face ID. And since it's scanned, this is now how it's going to be. So if I want to remove the require Face ID lock, then all I have to do is press and hold, and then I have to click where it says don't require Face ID, and then again it will authenticate with my Face ID to know that it's me. And now the feature has been disabled and I can always go in and open it like that. Now, there are some applications that are not yet supported at this point in time. I don't know why Apple has done this. So for example, the Maps application, you notice if you long press and hold right here, you don't have the ability to lock with Face ID, or if you have a Touch ID enabled device, or if you want to enable passcode, this is not supported. We also have the clock application here that's made by Apple. It doesn't have this feature. And at the same time, if you try out the different calculator application that's made by Apple as well, it's not supported. So not all applications are going to have this feature enabled. And those are mainly the Apple developed application that they feel are not intrusive enough, like the calculator app. Who's going to be able to access sensitive information from the calculator? So that's very rare. But at the same time, some of the other applications that are here, like for example, if you want to keep your alarms private, then you can't do that because you can't lock your clock app. Or at the same time, if you want to hide your recent location within Maps, you can't do that because this is not supported. So I wish Apple would just make this available throughout the whole OS and give users the option to do that. So there's a few things that I want to highlight that happen when you have this option. So almost all third-party applications are supported by this. So for example, if I was to do on Instagram right here, you can see require Face ID, and when you click on an app that can be hidden and you click on it right here, you can see you have the option to require Face ID, and at the same time you have the option to hide and require Face ID. So if you click the require Face ID tab right there, you can see it will authenticate with Face ID. And now if I was to use my other phone here and then just send myself a test message right here on Instagram, you can see the message comes in, and if I was to pull the message down on the notification tab right here, you can see it shows as Instagram, and when I click on it, it requires Face ID to be recognized. I can try again, but after multiple failed attempts, then you can see stolen device protection is turned on and Face ID is required, and you can learn more. And now I have to click where it says try again with Face ID, and you can see this has been authenticated. So that's the option that's there if you click require Face ID. So we won't require Face ID. I want to show you the second difference with what happens when you go to the option that says require Face ID and hide the application. So now it's the second one. So if you click there, it will scan with your Face ID, and then it will give you this pop-up screen that says if you hide Instagram, they will no longer be visible on your iPhone except in a few places such as settings. Face ID will be required to reveal, open, or use Siri with the app, and then obscured app icon and name. This app icon and name will be obscured in the home screen. There will also be an obscured folder hidden in the apps library, and no notifications or calls will be received from your hidden applications. So if you now click where it says hide, you can see Instagram disappears. So now if we go and search for like Instagram cannot be found. You can see nothing is found when it comes to the Instagram application. This is Wikipedia, it's more. So the actual app is not being found, and it's because we hid it in the hidden folder. So that's what happens when you select the second option and it's now in the hidden folder. And if I was to go on my other device and send myself a test message, you can see even though I had notifications turned on for Instagram, I'm not getting the same notification. And if I was to do my notification tab right here, the notification is not there. So this is something to keep in mind. If you require Face ID and hide, then you won't get the notification. But keep in mind as well that if you have any old devices that have not yet been updated to the latest iOS 18 versions, even though you've hidden the application and you've set require Face ID, notifications will still show on your old devices still. So that's something to keep in mind. And now if you want to unhide or find your application, you have to go into your hidden tab and it will authenticate with Face ID. And now if we press and hold on Instagram, we can say don't require Face ID, or we can now add it to the home screen. So if we click don't require Face ID, you can see the application is removed from the hidden tab, because you cannot have an app that doesn't require Face ID in that hidden folder. So now if we go back, you can see Instagram didn't add itself to the social media app. So now if we search for Instagram, you can see it comes up right here. And now if we just drag it and drop it in there, you can see now this is our Instagram application. So that's the new require Face ID feature that's here with iOS 18 that allows you to lock your applications, or giving you the ability to lock your applications and hide them if that's something that you need to do. And keep in mind that not all applications that can be locked can be hidden. For example, if you go into the messages, you can require Face ID, but there's no option to hide it because your messages is an essential part of iOS. Same with your core application right here. You can require Face ID for someone to be able to go into the app, but you can't hide it, meaning the application won't be moved into the hidden folder, and you'll still be able to get notifications, but to authenticate, you still need to require Face ID. So that's about it for me when it it comes to this new feature that's here with iOS 18 on the iPhone that allows you to lock your applications with Face ID or Touch ID depending on the device that you have. The only device I believe that you're going to see require Touch ID is the iPhone SE series. So if you have the SE, then you will need to use your Touch ID, but most require Face ID. So this is a new feature that's here. Let me know if you're going to be using it fully, or at the same time, are you happy that Apple has restricted some applications that can't be locked, and some applications that can be locked cannot be hidden, as you can see here. So stay safe, and I will see you in the next video. Peace.